day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Hey, everybody.
And hello to everyone. And let us begin with some game news, which we actually have for this week.
What? There's game news?
Well, that's what it looks like. It looks like they're going over the fighter Kensai upcoming changes. Kensai?
Yes, that is a tree in the fighter that you can pick. You can be a Kensai warrior. And they are also going to do some tweaks to Stalwart Defender as well.
Now, what exactly shows you how much I follow in fighters? What distinguishes a Kensai fighter from another type?
Couldn't tell you. Don't have a fighter.
Okie dokie. It's because I don't know, some reason it has this, the name sort of has this ring to it that sounds almost more like a monk trait tree than a fighter tree.
Yep, don't know. We really should have got somebody on the show that plays a fighter.
Oh,
that's horrible.
We will have to arrange for that when we go before it gets out.
We will, so somebody can actually talk and know what they're talking about.
Oh, hang on. Oh, this looks like some sort of psychic type because it says Power Surge. You gain a +8 psionic bonus to all attributes for 60 seconds. So obviously it's it sounded like a mental thing, yeah, so it sounds like a very, very mental-oriented fighter, so they probably have to have a pretty decent, well, either int or wisdom, I'm not too sure which would be more applicable, but...
Yes, our executive producer, Seberlin, did break his radio silence. He has not been seen on the forums for a while, but back on April 8th, he did post this up for some discussion. He says, "Greetings, we are looking to improve the fighter to make it more competitive with other classes. We have already begun the process by allowing fighters to take feats and add lots of tactical bonuses and extra passive mitigations. We want to further boost this class with the enhancement tree changes. We are currently looking at tweaks to the Stalwart Defender and some solid Kensai changes." And then, of course, he does go on and list these. And once again, keep in mind, this is preliminary ideas they have. None of this has been implemented into anything yet because, as we know, Lamania is not up right now. So at some point, we will get a Lamania build with these changes, so all you fighters can check this out. But the Stalwart Defender is going to get something called Steadfast. When activated, you will gain a +4 bonus on all your saves for 20 seconds. And the Last Stand, which is the passive portion of the enhancement, is improved to be a +2 Constitution, +2 Strength, and a +10 Physical Resistance rating, and a +10 Magical Resistance rating, and a +2 to all the DCs of the tactical feats. And then the Vanguard is going to get Fix the Bug with the DC of Shield Charge. So poor Vanguards are just getting a bug fix. And the Kensai
are getting everything.
Yeah, they're getting a bunch of stuff. This is where most of the changes are coming. The core abilities, you get the Strike with No Thought. You also gain a +1 competence bonus to your critical multiplier. The Power Surge, as Pineleaf talked about earlier, is a +8 sonic bonus to all your attributes for 60 seconds. If you possess the ability to generate ki, which would be your monks, you gain on hit a +2 to your ki. And then there's the Alacrity, which is +2 to all ability scores, 15% double strike, 15% double shot, which that is awesome right there. +4 action boost use, even though it's currently bugged to be only 1, it will be 4, they promise. +2 to the DCs of all your tactical feats. And then there are some Tier 1, Tier 2, 3, 4, and 5 changes as well that you can click over in our show notes and see this forum post. And read up on what those are and see what people in the forums are saying.
All right, so apparently then the Kensai is a good tree to have if you are multi-classing as a monk.
It sounds that way because it looks like there is a lot of key generating things that are in it. So yes. Once again, sorry, I play rogues and Warlock, Rogue, and Ranger is what I know.
Right. And if I remember correctly, I did Stalwart Defender when I did my fighter through my playthrough. I certainly didn't consider the Kensai.
Perkiosaurus says it's the key to all your success.
Of course it is.
See what you did there, Perky. They all can't be winners, buddy. Just saying.
Yes, thing. And now Massively Overpowered seems to not be impressed with the pace at which they are fixing the lag over at DDO.
Yeah, and the reason why I included this on the show is if you've been on the forums lately, you've seen what are you doing to fix the lag? What's up with the lag? Why do we still have lag? The thousands of lag posts that you see.
At least they haven't been putting up with it for 6 months like they have been on the Lojo side.
Well, there's your silver lining, I guess. So, Massively put up this, they saw there was a forum post not too long ago by Memner, who is a pretty well-known forum poster. And he asked Turbine, please take this opportunity to tell us something, anything, even if it's not news you think we want to hear. Dealing with us in any capacity is better than the echoing and persistent silence.
I mean, I've been seeing all sorts of posts from Turbine related to the lag.
It's been getting better. For a while, there was nothing.
Oh, that's because, yes, they were working on, and yes, they were... Because I have a feeling that Turbine doesn't like to say, yes, no change in status, no change in... I know some people want to hear no change in status every single day on it, but to me that sounds like it's going to get rather repetitive and boring, and they'll complain about them saying that every day.
Yeah, that would get a little old. But back on then, April 7th, Cordovan, our community manager, posted, we still have work to do on Wayfinder. Yes, you do.
Oh boy, I remember that one.
And several other servers. We are currently in the process of working on a hotfix, and we'll use downtime to deploy the hotfix to make some adjustments at the data center. ETA incoming, but it's not ready yet. So we actually talking about this on the show, besides Massively OP is a great website. Just want to give those guys credit for all the work they do on various games. They're just a multi-online role-playing game site, but they do great work. Anyway, Massively OP reached out to Turbine for a statement, and lo and behold, they got a statement back from Turbine. They updated their article saying a Turbine representative issued the following statement to Massively OP. We are all well aware that some players continuing to experience issues as a result of our recent move to a new data center. We have had teams across the studio working non-stop to resolve outstanding issues. Moving data centers is a very complex task, and while we have resolved many of these issues, we clearly have more work to do. So we did get, I guess, an official response from Turbine, and then soon after there was a little more responses on the forums from Turbine about it.
All right, and that's what this Cordovan update on lag patch is about?
Yes, and then, Cordovan did put a post up. We are actively working to get a patch released this week that we expect will improve game performance. We will keep people updated, and that was posted late this afternoon. And you will also find on the forums there is an official thread that you can go in and report your lag issues. And they, sounds like, are taking all the responses from that and looking at them. They're having the data ops people look at them. Their network ops people are looking at that. So if you're having lag problems, which I think at this point it's well to say that we all have had lag problems. Bonnie Buse in the chat, and she's saying she experienced problems on Argo and Cannith last weekend. I did as well on both of those servers. This weekend I was on Wayfinder.
We know Wayfinder.
Almost unplayable on Wayfinder.
Almost?
I actually did manage to get some stuff done, but it was kind of slideshowy, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So we do know there's work to do. Turbine is working on it. It's one of those things, like you said, what do? Do you just want Turbine to say every day, hey, we're working on it? We know we're working on it.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I do wonder about is if because I know that there are some updates related to Lotro in Update 18 that they're hoping to help with this. I'm wondering if they're waiting to see the results in Lotro. In other words, that they have an idea what they want to do, but they want to see how similar fixes work in Lotro before deciding whether or not to deploy them in DDO.
That very well could be, and I would assume it would be fairly easy to put those changes into DDO as well, since, Lotro and DDO are built on the same engine.
Sort of.
Yeah. It's, it's not the exact same game, and I think Bonnie Bew in the chat sums it up perfectly. She says, at this point, we are just exhausted with all the lag problems. And I think that is the sentiment from all the players.
Yeah.
But then again, I wish I can't say exactly what Will Wheaton always says because, we are a family-friendly show, so I can't use the quote exactly. But, Will Wheaton always says, don't be and I'm going to say jerk. The Will Wheaton quote is much better, but I can't say it.
Okay.
Well, I guess I could, and I could just edit myself out later. But anyway, so just be nice on the forums, people.
Okay, that. Yes.
I've, been looking at the forums, and wow, it's just getting vicious and vile and it's like,
forums.
That's not going to help anything, and I can't speak for Turbine at all, but I would assume just, myself, I've been in IT for years and years and years. And I know how frustrating it gets for me when a client of mine is having an issue that I can't figure out what's causing the issue. So I think they're just as frustrated with the problem as we are. So, just be nice.
All right. And this next item, game performance improvements and feedback. Anything else in here that...
Not really anything, worth mentioning. I mean, it's basically what it is people they gave you a little forum, what they want. They want, your character, if you were solo, if you were in a group, if so, what other races, classes were in the group, yada, yada, what quest were you in, what were you doing at the time? What time was the lag? Where were you at when you had the lag?
What was your name? What was your quest?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah. So just, if you haven't posted in there, but once again, be nice about it. Go in there, post, and hopefully we can get an end to this lag monster problem soon because it's getting frustrating, but as you said, Lotro's been putting up with it for about 6 months, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
I hope we don't have to wait 6 months for it to get resolved, but we'll see.
True. So let's then head into the DDO Chronicle, issue 185, and that is a very familiar screenshot.
Why, yes, it is. I think we've seen that before, of course. That is from the Anniversary Dungeon. And once again, that is ending in 6 days as we're recording this, so you still have a little time to get in there. In our 185th issue, we have the community spotlights. The Munchkin Summer Games are coming along.
All right. And this apparently is a replacement for the Halfling Summer Games because the Halflings have some new friends.
Apparently, yes, so.
Yeah. New friends that alliterate with N.
That started Nomageddon. I think so. I think that's what they are. So click over and check this forum post out and check out how you too can partake in the Munchkin Summer Games. And we have our Chronicle comment of the week. Do Mind Flayers wear socks?
Do Mind Flayers wear socks?
You act confused at this question, Pineleaf. It's yes or no.
I have to admit, I would have to visit Fred to find out.
Well, he kind of has long robes on, so you can't see his feet.
Well, you do have a point with that.
So, yes or no, Pineleaf, do Mind Flayers wear socks?
I don't know. It just doesn't sound like their style.
And I'm going to say, yes, they do, but they only let you know if they want to. See? Yeah. In the Fansite News section of the Chronicle, the Unheroics tackle the anniversary event, so click over and give them a watch. Cordovan was your guest host on this week's DDO cast. Jeff over at DDO Gamer investigates broccoli and bacon, because why not? The damsels of DDO headed into the Vale, and Even Notes is now live streaming on Twitch. So click over and check out her post about that, and make sure you subscribe to her Twitch feed and watch our friend Even Note stream. And that is it for our Chronicle this week.
All right.
And Nightpond says, the answer to that is yes, they do, one on each tentacle.
All right, with that, let's head into the store sales and find out if there's anything interesting on sale this week.
We have 20% off character slots, which are always good to have on sale. The questing tools, healing items, spell point potions, the stat buff potions also in the store at 20% off. And the free sample of the week through April 14th would be your Lesser Treasure Hunter's Elixir when you use the coupon code that you may find in our show notes.
And I presume that next week they will have the greater taxation on treasure elixir?
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
I don't know how to respond to that by then. I got nothing for you, man.
Right. Then let's see what we can find from the dungeon. Hasbro announces new leadership for Wizards of the Coast. They didn't like the old leadership?
Well, this actually news broke late this afternoon, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Nobody knew this was going to happen. But yes, as you said, Hasbro did announce today there will be a new lead. The current lead of Wizards of the Coast, Greg Leeds, has resigned as president, and he will be replaced by Chris Cox, who joins the company from Microsoft. Leeds had served as the president of Wizards of the Coast since 2008. And he's been with Hasbro since 2001, so he has been around for quite a long time. He will remain there until June 6th, and he is going to help to make sure the transition to Chris Cox goes smoothly, and then he will just slide out the door. And Chris Cox, basically nobody really has ever heard of him. He recently has been the vice president, OEM technical sales at Microsoft. He led in global sales and technical engagement team over at Microsoft. He began his career in brand management at Procter & Gamble, so he has worked at some pretty big corporations, so that is one thing. I think the biggest thing that I got out of this press release was it did say that he is an avid player of both Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons.
Well, so that is a plus.
That is a big plus for Wizards, that your president of your company likes your games and plays them. So we'll see how this affects either Magic or Dungeons & Dragons. But just from the buzz I read, I checked a couple other posts on this today after I got this press release. And everybody is saying this probably shouldn't be too big of a deal. Nothing, it should be day-to-day. Everything will be the same over at Wizards. But you never know. It's kind of scary when somebody new comes in the president role. So we'll see what happens. But he does play Magic and D&D, so I think we'll be okay.
Right. And D&D Icons of the Realm. Yes, WizKids has announced that they have a new set, Monster Menagerie, and they really like pumping out these miniatures.
They do. Well, you see, they like that ching-ching sound that they hear from the cash register for these miniatures. So that's why they like pumping them out finally.
Oh, wait, I'm not too sure I want to face that Mimic, though.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? That's the one I was going to point out. Over on DDO Players, we do have this post, and if you watch the YouTube version of this, I'll have a picture on the screen as we're talking about this. But that Mimic is freaking awesome looking. All of them are really good, but then again, WizKids does do a good job with their miniatures. So these should be out in retail soon. They are not out yet. We will be sure to let you know when you can get them, and they're going to be sold in the little booster packs like all their miniatures. And it's just a blind booster pack. You don't know what you're going to get. So it's basically a luck of the draw RNG type thing, but if you buy enough, you could collect the whole set. It's kind of like Pokemon. You got to catch them all.
And King's Road is to publish an official Dungeons & Dragons book and a coloring book?
Yes. How awesome is that you can get a D&D coloring book?
Right. And will it be available in the States or only in the UK?
Looks like right now it's only in the UK. I did reach out to Kings Road Publishing for confirmation on that because all I could find in the press release and the only links I could find to Kings Road's other coloring books were in the UK only. So it looks like a stateside might be out of luck. But the book that's coming out is going to be called, let's see, for some reason my screen just closed, so let me load this back up. Monsters and Heroes of the Realms, a Dungeons and Dragons coloring book, is going to be priced at $9. And, well, actually, it's
£9.
It's £9.99. Yes, I was going to say, because it's only in the UK, and be published in paperback. It's a, quote, treasure trove of illustrations summoned from the pages of the official rulebooks, including the many classes, races, and monsters from the Forgotten Realm. Studio Game will also be offering D&D fans a unique digital experience with a free download coloring app with an in-app purchase available. So that is just freaking awesome that you can have a D&D coloring book. I mean, who wouldn't want to color a Mind Flayer or a Beholder? I mean, come on.
You'll get some interesting colors for your Mind Flayers.
I'm sure you would. And the book that's coming out is called Dungeonology, and that is going to be published in hardback at £19, and it will introduce fantasy brand Dungeons & Dragons to King's Road Ology series. It is going to be a Forgotten Realms guide from Volo as he takes fans on an unforgettable journey. And of course, if you're familiar with the Forgotten Realms at all, you are familiar with Volo, because there was a series of 3.5 books out that were like the Volo's Guide to the Sword Coast, Volo's Guide to Neverwinter. So Volo is pretty famous in the Forgotten Realms lore. So it's pretty cool to see Volo coming back. But once again, kind of that it's only in the UK, though.
Now, though, the app, will that be available in the U.S.?
Looks like that's only UK as well.
Even though digitally it's very easy to...
Right, yeah. So I don't know if it's like some kind of agreement they have with WotC. I don't know. Like I said, I did reach out. I have not heard back. If I don't hear back from them, I think I will send a email to our press contact at WotC and see if they can answer that question. But I really, really hope these come stateside, because this is just freaking awesome.
Otherwise, it's saying, all right, how much is shipping from Amazon.co.uk?
You don't want to know, because I looked that up.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, what I did is I just went on Amazon UK and I just picked something that was $19.99, and you don't want to know what the conversion rate turned out to be.
Yeah.
You could almost make a car payment, I'll put it that way.
Right. Let's go on to the tabletop then. Rail Raiders Infinite Kickstarter from Soda Pop Miniatures. You're kidding me, right?
I am not kidding you. This is awesome, finally. It is from Soda Pop Miniatures and Ninja Division. It's time to ride the rails and rob them blind. The Kickstarter for this is now up. What this is you play as a team of bandits looking to rob the train of all its wealth. But beware, the Galactic Central Bank isn't just going to let you run off with their money. There is sheriffs on board working to stop you from robbing the train, and it's up to you to decide if you want to team up or hinder or help your fellow competitors.
And apparently they're already 4 times past their goal.
The Kickstarter went up the day I put the post up, and by the time I got the post ready to go to post, they had already met their goal. They met their goal in like 25 minutes, I think. Something crazy like that. Well, that's because Ninja Division and Soda Pop Miniatures does awesome games and awesome artwork and awesome miniatures. So they're pretty well known in the tabletop community. So it wasn't shocking that they hit their goal that quick. They are working on all of their stretch goals, which you can see up on the post right now. They are working for the 130K stretch goal. They have, as of this...
But they've already passed 130.
Oh, yes, they have. It looks like they haven't updated their Kickstarter. So it looks like the next one to go is going to be 145K. And as of this recording, they have 10 days to go. And they are at $130,451 of the measly $30,000 that they wanted. And we have a breaking update. Just as I said that, the clock or the counter moved up. They are now at 130,500. So somebody else just kickstarted them right live as we were on the air. How cool was that?
Amazing.
So check out Rail Raiders coming soon from Soda Pop Miniatures.
What? No single player rules?
Very few games have single player rules, finally. You should know that.
Yeah, but I have a habit of finding them, so.
Well, or you could just make up your own single player rules.
Let's go to Tabletopia Steam Early Access, and you have a review for that.
I do. It is Tabletopia has been around for a while. It was successfully kickstarted a while ago, and what it is it is a way to play tabletop games on the PC. And it was a browser only from the Kickstarter. They are working on an iOS and Android app, which should be coming this fall. They now have brought their Steam version out, which I did get a chance to check out. They sent a review copy key for me to install and check it out, and it works really well. As of this recording right now, there is 206 different board games you can play. My only big negative with it, and as I said in my review, this is pretty typical for most of these, quote-unquote tabletop simulators that are out. There's quite a few of them available. There's no, okay, this is how you play the game. You have to know the game rules to play the game. But it is a pretty awesome experience to sit down at your computer and play one of these games, because you're virtually sitting at a table and you see what you would see if you were actually playing the board game. So just keep that in mind. You have to know the game rules.
Well, yes, that's because, let's face it, if they included all the rules and stuff like that, it would...
And as I said, that's typical for... I have yet to see one of these tabletop simulators where you do get a little, okay, we'll teach you how to play this game.
Unless, of course, it was specifically for the game, in which case there's the premium price for...
Right, exactly.
For that. But yes, for something where $9.99, where you get this number of games, yes, they expect you to know how to play the game in order to work with. And some of the interesting ones, like, for example, the very hot Imperial Settlers is in this list.
Yeah, there is. You can, and I did link in the article over on Board Game Geek. They do have a list up of all the games that are on there, and there is some big titles available to play.
Yeah, so I'll have to go through that soon, because just before the show, I sort of purchased a copy. So.
You now. Well, good for you. And there is a find and play feature, so you can look to see if any of your Steam friends own this, and if so, you can jump into game right away with them, or you can...
I just had one called Draculetta in there.
Hey, there you go. See? Imagine that. See how it works. Right now, and keep in mind, this is early access, and it's going to be early access until sometimes in the summer. After that, they said they're going to operate under a subscription model. There will be a free option, and under the free option, you will get access to the games without the ability to play the game's expansion sets. You have to be one of their paid players to actually play any expansions. And the premium model comes with the ability to play all the expansion sets, as I just said. Buying into the early access version for $9.99 will award you with 1 month of their gold premium subscription when the game is fully released later this summer. And as I said in my review, it works well, it's fun, it's great, I liked it, I had a good time. So check it out if you're looking for a new way to play tabletop games on your PC. So since you have an Alpine Leaf, we'll have to play a game together.
We'll have to try. All right. Cool Mini or Not brings Massive Darkness to Kickstarter.
How cool is that name? Massive Darkness.
Massive Darkness.
Wow.
And what's so massive about the darkness?
I don't know, but that was a scary voice you just made. I need a moment to recover after that, Pine Leaf. Yes, Cool Mini or Not and Guillotine Games are partnering up to give you the ultimate dungeon crawl board game, Pine Leaf. The ultimate dungeon crawl board game.
What makes it the ultimate dungeon crawl? What makes it better than Dungeons & Dragons Adventure?
That is a good question. You know what that is? That is PR speak, Pine Leaf.
Ah. Oh, that's what it is.
That is all PR speak. It's using the popular Zombie-Aside system as a starting point, which that gets bonus credits in my book right there for using
Oh, that's right. I did hear about this coming up because
Zombie-Side is a cool game system, so that's going to work well in this, I think. Massive Darkness is going to add all the richness of a dungeon crawl RPG. You pick your hero, you pick your class, you decide what skills you want to spend with your XP. You get loot by searching the dungeon and killing special enemies that can use special equipment against you, though, so watch out for those special enemies. You face a multitude of different enemy types coming in all shapes and sizes whose behavior is resolved automatically, or you can try to sneak around enemies and take advantage of the dark areas of the map. And this will be kickstarted soon, they said. No specific date for the Kickstarter has been announced, but we will be sure to let you know when you can go spend some money on this Kickstarter. Which I am going to say it right now. I'm going to predict this thing is going to get funded within probably an hour of it being launched.
most likely.
Most Cool Mini or Not games, usually about an hour, they're funded. So then again, that's because they do great work. So I haven't put out a bad game yet.
All right, then let's go into Jen Henson's Labyrinth, the board game, coming this summer.
Okay, now this is the part of the show where I'm going to talk to the cool people that have seen Labyrinth. So Pineleaf, you can go do whatever you want to do. River Horse Games has announced that they are going to team up with the Jim Henson Company to bring the world of Labyrinth to a board game, and this looks amazing. The new game features 5 beautifully crafted figures capturing the likenesses of all the major characters from the movie. The game is designed for up to 4 players, ages 6 and up. It is a fast-playing family game with an emphasis on simple gameplay and evocative art. And I have put the samples of the figures in the show notes. They'll be in the show notes. They're also up on the article. It is amazing looking. The game is going to feature a 2x2 board game, 32 Labyrinth cards, 30 game tokens, 6 dice, 6 reference cards, and you get 4 character sheets. Just take a look at that picture and tell me that's not awesome, Pineleaf. Even though you've never seen the movie, you have no idea what I'm talking about. You know how awesome that looks, though.
Yeah, it looks a bit on the awesome side.
And Nightpon is saying he wants a Dark Crystal game. I agree, sir. That would be awesome, too. We need to make this happen. But if they've teamed up with Jim Henson, I think we could maybe see a Dark Crystal game. That would be awesome. So yeah, there's no release date set for it, no manufactured retail price set. Once again, just stay tuned to us because we will keep you updated when we get all of that information. Until then, drool over the pictures because it's awesome. Pineleaf, you still need to go watch Labyrinth.
Right.
Just saying.
All right, let's head into our weekend DDO. And Drac, what have you been up to?
I did a lot of stuff this week, actually. We'll start over on Kenneth. My Warlock is now at level 11. I ventured into House P, and I did the Desert Caravan, which, of course, takes you into the sands of Benectrian. So I'm out in the sands, questing with the old Warlock. I did Purge of the Fallen Shrine and the Chamber of Korush. Didn't have any problems what to speak of. I keep running the chest out there, hoping to get some of the name drops that drop out of those boss chests. I've basically been running the chest every day. Yeah, nothing, no drops at all. So I've been kind of hoping to get that one bow for my little baby ranger I have, but I haven't got the elemental longbow yet. That's what I'm hoping to get out of one of those chests.
You know how long it's going to take you.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Just saying. And then also on Kenneth, I have my level 4 rogue that I run with you. I'll let you talk about what we did together. But I took care of the solo quest by myself, because hence, the word solo quest, that makes sense. So in the harbor, I did Home Sweet Sewer, the Miller's Debt, Arachnophobia, and an explosive situation to get those out of the way. And then let's hop over to Argonessence, where my Wolflock is level 20. I'm questing out in Evening Star. I started the Netherese Legacy quest. And let's just say I got cocky on this.
All right.
I thought, my Wolflock is awesome. I'm going to do a stay at the inn on Elite. No problem.
All right.
No problems. Got through the entire dungeon. Got to the very end with the boss. and promptly got it handed to me.
Whap.
It was just insane how quick that boss killed me on Elite. I was like, holy crap, my Wolflock is not quite as good as I thought he was. So I licked my wounds from that. I did actually manage to finish it. I think I had like 15 deaths by the time I was done, though, before I got it finished. But I did kill the boss and get it done. Because I wasn't gonna, because since I was at the end, there was no way I was gonna leave that dungeon and abandon that whole thing and redo it again on hard. I'm like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make it happen. So persistence pays off, kids. So then I did rest stop and I just did that on hard because I'm like, yeah, screw Elite. So I didn't have any problems on hard. So maybe the next quest, I might try an Elite, see what happens. I did get some new jewelry and armor, so maybe that might help me a little bit. I noticed a couple of my some of my rings I was wearing. I didn't realize I still had some like really low level stuff on for some reason. I'm not sure why I let that happen, but we'll see about that. So that was my week on Arganescent. Over on Wayfinder, I do have a Ranger, which is level 7. I started at 7, of course. Was in the harbor. I tried to do Arachnophobia, the Miller stat, and information is key. I did get through all those, but it took forever.
On a level 7?
Because of the lag.
Oh.
It was like...
Oh, that's right, Wayfinder.
Yeah, yeah, it was like insane. I have never seen that much lag before. So, Wayfinder, I am so sorry for you people that play on Wayfinder.
I hope you have also on another server.
Yeah, exactly. Then I did Man Named Bardrick Kahneman, all those quests. Did those on Elite. I did protect Baudry's interest. That I actually got through with no lag at all. The Stop Hazardil shipment, I got about halfway through, and I got a couple lag spikes, but it wasn't bad. And then when I went in to do Retrieve the Stolen Goods, it was like a slideshow. It was horrible. It took me forever to finish that quest because I could like take 2 steps and then I would like rubber band back to where I was, and then I'd take 2 more steps and then I'd rubber band back, and I'm like, oh my god, really? So yeah, so poor Wayfinder. So that is my week in DDO. Of course, you will talk about what we did together. I hopped on Neverwinter. My Warlock is now sitting at level 47. Which my Warlock now I think is my main that I'm playing on Neverwinter. Because my poor Ranger is only sitting at I think level 36 or something like that. So I'm just enjoying the Warlock way too much in Neverwinter. It's so much fun. I'm questing in Pirates Skyhold is the zone that I'm in. And that is interesting because I'm actually starting to find a little bit of some challenges in there that before I have pretty much been able to like kill most things, kill bosses, run through the dungeons, no problem. Now I'm kind of seeing that the difficulty is stepping up just a bit. So
a little bit.
That's good to see. And then in tabletop D&D, I spent some time prepping for some Dungeon Master work I'm getting ready to do. Going to start another Curse of Strahd campaign. Yes, 1 campaign is not enough for me. I have to run 2. I'm going to do this one for my friend and his 2 kids, so that should be interesting.
Now, are you going to be giving them the same treatment as your other group?
No, I am not.
Okay.
I'm going to be nice. Because as my friend told me, he said this, and I will quote him. He said, if you kill my kids, you're going to make them cry. Dungeon Master guilt right there. So we'll see. But I don't know if they can. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Because I'm telling you, if you've read Curse of Strahd and you've read through Death House, that is an insane. Once you get down into the low levels of the house, there is some crazy crap that happens in that house. And if you're only a level 1 or level 2 party, you're probably going to die unless you are on the top of your game. So we'll see what happens. So hopefully I don't make some kids cry because that would be horrible. Dungeon Master guilt gets me every time. So that was my week. What about you, finally?
All right. We will begin with my Gnome Warlock, which I played with you, where we started at level 3 and then eventually leveled, where we did the Waterworks, the entire Waterworks, where we went through Clan Gnashtooth, rescuing Arlos, then Clan Tunnelworm, and finally Ven's Fate. So all 4 of those.
And we didn't have any problems with anything either. We were just zipping right through everything.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. we found a couple rares in the waterworks section itself, but not too many of them.
Yeah, we are just having a horrible time with rares in this new little characters we've started. Because if you remember from last week when we were talking about Korthos, we never got any of the rares. So I don't know. I think it's probably my RNG luck. I'm sure that's what it is. I'm like cursing you because you're with me, because it has been brought to my attention by several people that when they run with me, the RNG curse does reflect on players in the group.
Oh, it does.
It does. I have been told that more than once.
Okay. In other words, they blame you for a little bad luck.
Oh, they do.
Yes. And that's all I managed to do in DDO because I didn't want to go into Argo. I mean, to Wayfinder for obvious reasons. And
you didn't want to play the slideshow game finally?
No, I didn't feel like playing slideshow. And I was rather busy for most of this week, so I didn't have a good slot where I thought this is going to be a good time where I could do the temple, because my plan on my Warlock was to do the temple and see if I could complete part 1 of the temple. And, you want to have some time slotted out before doing something like that. And I completely forgot until you just reminded me that I was supposed to be, that when my homework was to do those solo ones. So I've got until Wednesday to go and do those solo quests so I could get my
TikTok, buddy. TikTok.
Clock
is clicking now, buddy. Come on.
Now, another reason that little time on there is that I was on tabletop section, or semi-tabletop, because this is actually a Steam version of a tabletop game, is I've been playing Xenoship's Onslaught and getting killed.
AI pretty hardcore, is it, Pineley?
Well, you know how those cooperative games are.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, they put those rules a little bit so that winning is an achievement. Let's put it that way. And for my first game, I actually am doing a quick YouTube series on that one. And yeah, so therefore, first time playing this game, and you can imagine all the mistakes you're going to make trying to build the right deck and trying to give the right orders, remembering all your special abilities and things like that, which wind up.
So you would never play the actual tabletop version of it before?
I had not played the tabletop version before.
Okay.
But it works pretty much the same way. I have seen a couple of playthroughs on YouTube, and it follows the rules quite faithfully, since it is a tabletop, since it is a version of. So I was playing single player, though they do give you the option in this version of it to scale the difficulty and adjusting the amount of health points that your base has. So therefore, I'm doing this, when I'm saying I'm getting killed and clobbered to this, I'm doing this with 20 health to my base, which anyone who's familiar with the game knows that the rule book gives 15 as the standard, which is the standard amount that they have in this version. But if you want to play a relaxing version, meaning that it takes you 2 turns longer before you get killed instead...
So it's the Pine Leaf casual mode, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the Pine Leaf casual mode, yes. And yeah, I was getting killed and clobbered anyway. I figured as soon as I can actually win a game in casual mode, I could then bump it up to normal mode. And if you find that normal mode is too easy, then you could bring it down to 10. And the other thing that I was doing this week is that I've started to read the Dresden Files, because I have heard a rumor that at the end of this month, the people at Evil Hat will be putting on Kickstarter a board game based on the Dresden Files.
Really?
A cooperative card game based on the Dresden Files. I believe let's see, and it's going to have the rather unusual feature of actually, I know we're talking about Evil Hat here, so guess what type of dice they use?
D6.
What I mean by that is, no, I meant fate dice.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess being Evil Hat, yeah.
Yeah, being Evil Hat, of course.
So I had not heard they were actually going to do a Kickstarter for the Dresden Files. That's awesome.
Yes, they are doing a Kickstarter that is I believe it's supposed to be is scheduled for the end of April when they are starting it. We will have to see when the Kickstarter gets launched. I hope I hear about that when it happens.
Well, there's a little site called DDOplayers.com that I'm almost positive will have that news when that Kickstarter goes live.
I'm pretty sure.
So be sure to bookmark DDOplayers.com for all of your tabletop news, finally.
All right. And anyway, the core game includes Harry, Murphy, Susan, Michael, and the Alphas to play through the first 5 novels as well as Side Jobs, a random scenario generator based on the short story collection of the same name.
That is amazing. That's awesome. I haven't read the Dresden Pile books in I don't know how long. It's been forever since I read those books. That's a great book series.
Right. So I thought, and it's for 1 to 5 players.
Well, that's got you written all over it then. It's a solo game. Finally, it's like, sold!
Well, that's why I'm reading the Dresden Files, to see how well I like the world, because I'm liking it so far, but because the description they has a very similar description to what I heard for Hard Magic, and I could not get through the first 2 chapters of Hard Magic, so therefore I'm quite happy I could get further than that in Dresden Files.
Is this the first time you're actually reading them?
Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So let's head into donations. We currently have 25 supporters on Patreon, and if you'd like to help support DDO Players, you can go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest host with us on DDO Players News. And we do have featured comments this week. Psyche left a comment on DDO Players News, episode 78, Track versus the RNG.
He says, I was surprised over the gloves because its attributes can easily be found on Loot Gen now. And that was, of course, if you listened to last week's show, was in response to, he said he was shocked that people were taking the severed finger gloves for the pick and the anniversary fest. Right. And we were wondering why he was surprised. Well, now we know. Wonder no more.
And Patrick of DDO Cast left a comment on Dungeons & Dragons movie now has a director. I don't exactly find a director and writing credits encouraging.
Neither do I. I think neither do anybody.
Yeah.
As I said, as we were talking about this last week, the more news that comes out on this movie, the more scared I get about this movie. But we'll see. Keep it open mind.
Could they possibly make it worse than the first movie?
Oh, it's possible, finally. It's very possible.
And Mock Taskmaster left a comment on DD&D Icons of the Realms, Monster Menagerie.
He says, these should make Drac happy. There are 2 versions of Strahd in here, one invisible and one normal painted. There are a lot of invisible figures in this set, which seems odd. Maybe they're just all stuck in the fog? They could be. The mist of Ravenloft has taken them all. Ha 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 ha. Strahd is coming for you. He will have his revenge.
We do not have any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, DDO Players @DDO Players, Draculetta @Draculetta_72, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, and you could also join us at our Steam group. And what's the name of our Steam group? It's
shockingly DDO Players.
Wow, what a shock. The players,
you can find that we will have it linked in our show notes. If not, once you're on Steam, just go to groups and search for DDO Players and you can find it. Or if you're friends with myself or Pineleaf on Steam, you can find it from there. But it's basically Steam community /group/DDO Players, if you want the full URL, which can be found in our show notes.
The Players Alliance has 5 live shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Every other Thursday at 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotra Players News. Every other Saturday after Lotra Players News, we have Tales of the Free Folk. And on the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotra Academy After School. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for this week. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.